fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Autobot MEDIX from the Transformers Legacy Evolution line from Hasbro. So this guy is from the Rescue Bots universe, and since we have Chase coming in the first wave of Legacy United, that's really building out our Rescue Bots universe, so that's kind of fun. Hoping they do some more of them. But yeah, this was a Walgreens exclusive, but it's also a shared exclusive with Hasbro Pulse, and that's where I was able to get mine because I don't have Walgreens anywhere near me, and I really wish they'd stop doing Walgreens exclusives because Walgreens doesn't really seem to care, and it's very difficult to get, so I was lucky enough to get this from Hasbro Pulse, which is probably the only way I was going to be able to find it. But yeah, it's still under the Legacy Evolution banner, even though we're getting ready to start United. Should be coming out soon. Some of the figures have already started popping on Amazon, so some people have them in hand already. I have a lot on order, but nothing has arrived as of yet. But anyway, packaging for Legacy Evolution here. Some nice artwork of the vehicle mode here on the front. Some nice artwork of the robot mode here on the side. Although he has these like teal blasters in this artwork, and I believe he's got red blasters on the back. Oh no, I guess he does have one teal blaster, so in any case, he comes with several weapons. Over here we have that standard Legacy Evolution mural there on the side. On the back here we have some nice product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Now it looks like he comes with two translucent red blasters, which I believe are just the same two blasters from Minerva / Elita 1, because that was the same mold, and I believe those are the two blasters from that mold. But then also comes with the crankcase accessories of like the front grill weapon and that gun that's still a holdover from the Skids use of this mold. So this mold started as Skids, was used several times, became crankcase with some remolding, and now the crankcase remold has become MEDIX. So quite the journey for this mold. And don't know if they're done with it yet. But in any case, that's it for the packaging. I'm going to go ahead and get MEDIX out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. Here is MEDIX out of the packaging. I really like the look of this. I mean, it was a good mold to begin with. I mean, it's kind of a second generation version of that mold, but I really like the color scheme here. The white, the orange, the green, the black, and the gray really works. I mean, the white is obviously the most prominent, and I wish we had a little bit more of the other colors just to break it up, especially in the vehicle mode, but we'll get there. But I like it a lot. I mean, you have the translucent blue plastic because, again, they've done that thing where we have the translucent windows, so then this whole section is a piece of translucent plastic painted, so it doesn't quite match. Again, we'll see that more in vehicle mode. But the blue does also kind of add to the color scheme in a way, which I really like. So just all in all, I think it's a really fun color scheme. I like it quite a bit. Just to do a quick comparison, here is Crankcase, just so you can see the mold brother there. Again, this started out as the Skids mold and then got reworked into Crankcase, and then Crankcase got repainted into MEDIX. So it's kind of a second generation version of this mold, but I like it a lot. I really do like this color scheme. I think it totally works. Articulation is pretty much what we're used to, so the head's on a ball joint. Not really much up and down, but certainly side to side, no problem. You have a joint here in the shoulder as well as in the shoulder here. Now, when this transforms, it kind of accordions in on itself. So that gives you almost like a butterfly joint here, as well as a hinge here in the actual body part of the shoulder. And then, of course, you have the rotation as well. So a decent amount of articulation in the shoulder. You have a bicep swivel, 90 degrees there in the elbow. There's a wrist swivel as well. Waist swivel right here. The hips are really tight on mine. It's not a problem. They'll still move, and maybe they'll loosen up a little bit over time, but kick pretty far back, pretty far forward, and then you have a hinge here out to the side, so almost 90 degrees in every direction, which is pretty cool. Got a thigh swivel there, 90 degrees there in the knee. The knees are a little loose on mine. I guess it's mold fatigue at this point, which is a bit of a bummer. And then you have ankle tilt, which is pretty nice. So all in all, it's a fun mold. I liked it as Crankcase. I like it here. The doors don't want to stay pegged in on the side there. I guess technically they don't have to. If you really wanted, you could open them up if you want to give them wings. But they're kind of meant to just peg in, you know, on the sides there. But he still has the little guns back here, like the not quite Trigger Master gimmick they did for Crankcase. So he's still got those back there. I kind of wish they were a different color so they'd stand out a little bit more. Maybe they could have done them in the gray plastic just so they'd stand out a little bit, but I guess they're on the same sprue as the other pieces, so it is what it is. But I really do like the color scheme. I think it's a fun little repaint, and I think it's kind of fun that we're getting into the Rescue Bots, you know, line here in terms of characters, but brought into, you know, the G1 specifications or G1 universe type specifications. So I think it's kind of fun. Now, accessory wise, he does have the same tube that Crankcase had. So he's got this grill piece, again done in white, but it has a little bit of gray paint. So this is the gun mode, and then you just flip this up to form the grill, and then that'll peg into the front of the vehicle mode. Otherwise, he can just hold it in his hand like so. It's all right. I didn't really expect them to remold this at all, but it would have been neat if they could have done something else with this. I don't know. It's an all right accessory. Then we have this gun here in translucent blue. It is what it is. We've seen that one before. And then we have these two done in translucent red, and these are the guns from Elita 1 / Minerva. I kind of like these, though. I don't know why. I just think they kind of fit. Because they're almost orange enough to fit in with the rest of the color scheme, which I'm sure is what they were going for. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like them. I like having kind of a dual pistol thing. I mean, he's a medic, so it doesn't really make sense, but maybe you could pretend they're some kind of welding tool or some kind of repair tool for fixing up Autobots. I don't know. He also comes with a light bar that I just have pegged into the back here, but you can remove that if you want. It just pegs in there. I guess I can take it out. It's a little bit easier to peg in and remove in the vehicle mode, but there we go. So if you wanted to just peg the weapons straight into the back, you absolutely could. The nice thing is, once you peg the light bar in, there we go, it does have a spot so you can still peg weapons on top of the light bar. So you don't lose that peg hole if you decide to use it for the light bar, which is cool. I like that. I do appreciate that. There we go. So yeah, all in all, I think it's a cool little repaint. A little bit loose knees, which is kind of a bummer, but other than that, I like it quite a bit. So the transformation is exactly the same as Crankcase and very similar to Skids before that. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick because we've seen this mold a few times at this point. Going to start by flipping down these shin pieces and then lining up the legs and sandwiching them all together. Just have to make sure the back pieces are all lined up. There we go. Then we're going to take a hold of the chest section and lift this up. And that will kind of allow this to move and drop down a little bit here. Going to bring the arms down like this. And this is where it kind of accordions in, like I was talking about, where this kind of goes in like that. And then the arms are going to tab into these little tabs here on the side. So bring this up and peg this in. This section is getting in my way. Alright, where is the actual tab slot? I think it's the back one, so it's got to be at the top of this. Then we'll bring this one in and do the same thing, like so. Straighten this. Now you kind of have to play with these things, these little gun sections. They kind of mostly stay where they are, but you just have to kind of wiggle them a little bit just to make sure that they go in the right spot there. Now this is the next part that's kind of weird. So the crotch section here, actually, you know what, I'm going to pop these apart just because it's a little easier. This has to go up here, which can be difficult because the hips are so tight. So you need to swing the crotch part up while at the same time rotating down the hips. But again, because the hips are so tight, at least on mine, it's a bit of a challenge. But once we get that up there and get that where that's supposed to go, the hands will peg in a little bit easier as well. All right, now that's all lined up. Then we're going to re-peg in the legs. Then we're going to fold this down, making sure these are all the way down. Fold this like this, and then this section will drop onto these two tabs right here. So you peg the roof in to the back of the thighs, I guess. Which it's not wanting to cooperate. There we go. And then at this point, we just drop these doors down. And mine, I don't know, I probably have it mistransformed partially, but for whatever reason, this one does not like to stay clicked in for me. And then you pop these wheels out here on the back, just by flipping them out to the side. Yeah, mine's not sticking together. Good enough. So if you want, I guess technically you could leave it like this, but you're meant to bring this piece in and then peg it into the center here to form the grille of the vehicle. So here is Medix in his vehicle mode. So again, I like the vehicle mode. It is the same as Crankcase. It is very white, but they did a decent job. You have these little packs here in orange. You have the cool like lifeline, you know, heart monitor, you know, I'm sure there's, we'll just call it a lifeline, painted there in green. You have a little bit of the green here on the hood of the car with the gray and the Autobot symbol. You have the light bar up here. And again, the blue windows do kind of help add a little bit more color. So all in all, it's not bad, but it's still very white. Now, like I said, if you wanted, you could leave this off. It's a little bit, you know, kind of a snub nose to the car, but it adds a lot more color in. So it is an option. You know, it looks a little weird, but I really like the extra color. But I don't know what they would have done. I mean, maybe have this grille done in gray and then paint the headlights green or something, or orange, just to give it a little bit more color. I don't know. Just something. It's very white. It's not a problem. I just wish it had a little bit more color to it. But it's got a decent amount, and it rolls well. So all in all, I think it's a pretty cool, pretty successful little vehicle mode. Just wish it had a little bit more color. I do like the lifeline, you know, kind of the pulse, heartbeat, you know, the heart monitor line there on the side. I do think that's kind of cool. Yeah, not too bad. One last thing I forgot to mention, it is possible to store all the weapons here in the vehicle mode. This mold happens to have 2 extra peg spots here on the back, so you could pop these in here and then still put that one into the light bars. So even though it didn't originally come with these weapons, it's nice that it is possible to still store all of the weapons here in the vehicle mode. I think this guy looks fantastic, honestly. I liked the Crankcase remold of Skids. I thought that was a really nice job, kind of putting some new life into that mold, and I really like it here as Medix. For me, it's all about the color scheme. The green, the orange, the black, the gray, the white, they all work really well together. The head sculpt is just the burnout / crosscut head sculpt, but it's painted differently here that it almost looks completely different, which I know sounds dumb, but they've done such a good job by using the paint to really make it look different, and I really appreciate that. I like the extra weapons. I think the color scheme there works because you have kind of orange weapons going with the orange color scheme, and it's kind of fun just to have rescue bots in the mix. I mean, it's kind of neat that they're kind of taking those rescue bot characters and then kind of throwing them into the G1 universe, almost kind of having them grow up, because they're usually kind of like chibi stylized, you know, kind of like short, squat, fatter kind of characters. But now they have kind of like the stylized, sleek G1 proportions and whatnot. So I just think that's fun. It's kind of a crazy hodgepodge. But in any case, it's a simple repaint, but in my mind, it works. I really like it quite a bit. If you can get your hands on one, I definitely recommend it. Like I said, definitely Hasbro Pulse was the way for me because I don't have any Walgreens around me. It was in stock. I think now it's up for pre-order, so if you want one, you should be able to head over to Pulse and pre-order one. Otherwise, I guess just hunt in the wilds at Walgreens, so I'll have to wish you luck. But yeah, I definitely think it's worth checking out. I mean, even if you're not a huge fan of Rescue Bots, because I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of Rescue Bots. I've never really watched the show. Obviously, I'm not the key demographic. But I just think this is a fun repaint, and I think it looks really good, and I'm having fun with it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.